Welcome to StudentCareerInfo.com, an extensive online archive of career videos and career exploration resources. This program is a production of Students and Leaders Network, a 501c3 nonprofit offering students a direct connection to real-world professionals through both live participation and videos on demand. Thank you for joining us for today's session. Is being a business owner all it's cracked up to be? Featuring Kati Whitledge, local business owner and entrepreneur.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
By a raise of hands, how many of you do actually really well in school and feel like you excel at school? Anybody? A little bit? Okay, and then raise your hand if you feel like you kind of struggle maybe with authority and school's not your jam. Anybody?
Struggle with authority. It's not really. I'm in the middle though. Yeah, me too.
Okay, well, I'm going to share with you a little bit about my journey because I've been on both sides. I've been the kid who struggled in high school with authority and struggled to do well academically. And then flash forward, when I finally decided to get my act together, I then became a 4.0 student with graduating with honors. So I'll tell you a little bit about that. In high school, I was in a small town, and my dad was a pastor. And being a pastor's kid means everybody in town knows everything about you. And I just happened to be like the naughty kid. So I couldn't wait till I turned 18. Once I did, I moved to Madison. And once I got to Madison, I realized like it's a whole lot easier to get away with things here because it's big. Nobody knows you. It wasn't until I had my own personal like rock bottom that I kind of came to and realized after many years of like partying and making poor decisions that this is not who I'm meant to be. I feel deep down that there's more that I can accomplish. So I first went to Madison College. I took a very non-traditional route. I went to Madison College and got my certification as a group health club technician, which just means that I was certified to teach group fitness classes. If any of you have heard of Dragonfly Hot Yoga, I teach their only non-yoga class that they offer. It's called Power Up. Super fun. But then I went back for Cosmetology, which is a one-year program, and graduated with honors from that. Again, I was motivated though, because I did not get my stuff together until I was about age 22. And so finally, when I went to cosmetology school, it was on. I set a record for working on the most amount of clients out of any student in history, meaning I recruited my own people. I knew that if I was going to be successful, it was my fault. You see, I used to live life like this. It was never my fault. I was totally in denial of where I was at in life, and I just didn't take responsibility for my life. All of a sudden, it was time for me to take accountability. Whatever life I'm going to have is going to be a result of the choices that I make every day. So at this point, I got myself healthy, and I became a successful student, knowing that I wanted to be a successful hairstylist. I ended up working at a salon that allowed me to transition from being a hairstylist to an independent contractor, which means my employer became my landlord. My clients, the salon clients, became my proprietary assets, meaning they were my own clientele. They were legitimately, they kind of belonged to me in a sense. So when I got that experience, it gave me this thirst for business and marketing because I was in control of setting my own appointments, checking clients out through my own POS system, which is point of sale. And I got to create my own marketing programs. So it was all, again, my success was going to be reliant on my choices. It was in my hands. And on the flip side, if I wasn't going to be successful, it was going to be my fault too. I remember my first week of work being in a commissioned position like that. Commission means I was not making any money unless somebody sat in my chair for a service. My first 2 weeks of work, my paycheck was $186. So in the meantime, I had to work. I was working 60 hours a week because I had to have more than one job. Fast forward 3 years later, and I became an independent contractor. Now I was making $8,000 a month, and I was too big for the amount of space that I had. So I knew that it was time to find a new location, not because of anything to do with where I was at. I love the people, but it was time for me to now divide and multiply. What does that mean? Well, it means it's time that I either go into my own booth rental where I'm all by myself, or be still amongst a team, which I love. I love being around people. So I had that urge, and I started off a salon. It's on the west side of Madison. It's called Be Inspired Salon, and we are an upscale boutique. We specialize in bridal, hair and makeup. We specialize in curly hair texture work, and we also specialize in hair color. So when I opened the salon, I only had 3 employees, and that included me because I started an S Corp. I know this is a lot of business talk, but I'll try to keep it as simplified as possible. We had 3 employees, including me, and today we have almost 20. And it's been 7 years of running that salon. And why I'm called an entrepreneur and not a business owner is because I am no longer behind the chair. I have managers run the salon, so I'm not the manager. An entrepreneur means that other people are running your companies, and you essentially make money while you sleep. You essentially make money when you're not there. So I go to the salon now 1 day a week to lead our team meetings to keep everybody in line with the vision. The entrepreneur's job is having the vision and getting other people who believe in that same vision to follow your lead. And that's just something I believe I've been gifted with. So the salon is doing fabulous, and about 4 years into running the salon, I thought about, we have an issue here. New clients are coming into the salon, and they're not having the greatest experience based on what they see about our reputation on Google. So if you go to Google, we are the highest rated salon in the US. We have the most positive reviews of any salon in the US. And that issue is new people go and they look at this and they're like, wow, this place seems awesome. And then they come in and they typically are booked right away with who? Well, if you're able to get in right away, you're probably going to be booked with somebody who doesn't have as much experience, somebody newer into the industry. So those expectations weren't in line. We weren't delivering on what people said we were capable of delivering on. Are you with me? So what we had to do is, what we had to do is figure out a way, how could I control the visit of a first-time client before they even came into the salon? And I love psychology, I love behavioral economics and behavioral purchasing and all of those things. So I decided to take what I knew about that, and I created a survey called Meet Your Stylist. If I could have prospective clients fill out the Meet Your Stylist survey prior to coming in for their first appointment, a few things happen. One, they're no longer fearful of what that first visit's going to be like. It is a fact that people are more scared to see a new hairstylist than they are to see a dentist. And if you've ever had that feeling like I hope they don't mess up my hair, I hope this color turns out, we wanted to eliminate that fear. So they also have economic choices because they're going to get matched with their top 3 stylists at my salon. So now they get to decide, okay, do I want to work with somebody newer into the industry, or do I definitely want a seasoned pro? And then based on availability, again, they have more options than just one. What happened is 7 out of 10 people who are filling out that survey on our website, I say, hey, go and do it. Go to beinspiredsalon.com and fill it out and try it out for yourself. They are coming in to do business with us. Okay, so that's called a conversion rate. That's a 70% conversion. That's what that means. And I'm like, holy crap, this is huge. There is nothing else like this in our industry. There's no marketing tool out there that could ever help convert clients. And I'll tell you this. When you become a business owner or entrepreneur, now you have to make advertising decisions for your business. I was spending about $400 a month on print ads. We got about 8 to 9 new clients a month from that. I was spending almost $1,200 a month on radio advertisements. Again, I was getting about 8 to 9 new clients a month for that. Now, fast forward to Meet Your Stylist tool that we created. We're getting a whopping 150 submissions a month through our site and averaging about 60 clients, additional new clients every month. So here's what I do. I say, okay, I'm going to face my fears and go big into something I've never done before. I never thought I'd be smart enough to do this. And I started a software company. Inspired Enterprises is the mother to Meet Your Stylist software tool and the Beyond the Technique business consulting and podcast. So if everybody has an iPhone or Google Play, you can go to the podcast icon and listen to Beyond the Technique with Kati Whitledge. And that is a podcast that's geared for hair professionals. It's talking to them about business topics that go beyond their time behind the chair. So these companies are here to serve nationally now hair salon owners and help them have the success that we've had. And this was like the big launch. Had I not become an entrepreneur for my own salon business, I never would have had the time, energy, or the money to invest in this whole huge, big conglomerate, or that's not the right word. I was never that great at those things. But you don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to be the most talented. You have to be the one willing to work your, what off. And if you are willing to do that, you will be successful. Because if you look at the greatest sports players out there, they weren't necessarily the most talented. They were the ones willing to work harder than everybody else. And that's really what today's success is all about. Are you willing to do what others are not willing to do? Because that's going to be the difference maker for you. And I love this. This is my favorite quote. Average is best of the worst or worst of the best. And I just refuse to be average. So I want to encourage everybody listening today to face your fears, go after the big goal that you think could be impossible, and simply never give up. And I know you hear that all the time. It's super cliche, but it is really the difference maker. And if you listen to anybody big, anybody that's made it big that you respect, that you're like, I want to emulate what they're like. If you listen to their story and their journey, you're going to hear and learn about all their tumultuous experiences. It is never going to come easy. It doesn't come easy for anybody. But hopefully our talk today will inspire you and empower you to kind of think about, if I go big, what is that for me? What does that look like? And then you just start working yourself backwards and thinking about the steps to get there. So I'm hoping now that we'll have some time for questions. How about I ask you a question? We can just go down the line. Okay. Tell me your name. Tell me your name, what grade you're in, and what you want to be when you grow up.
Zach, you start.
Where do I gotta start?
Okay, then
Because Zach, I can tell Zach that you are confident. You're feeling yourself. That's good. You need that. So why don't you tell me? You start.
My name is Zach. I am in 12th grade, so I'm a senior, and I want to either go into the criminal justice field or education, but I'm not quite sure yet, so that's why I'm just chilling around.
Very good. Thank you.
My name is Omar. I'm a junior, and I want to be a marketing manager.
A marketing manager. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, my name's Brooke, and I want to go for probably a vet technician.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm
Thank
a senior.
Okay, good.
I forgot about the grade.
My name is Layla. I'm a sophomore in something in the nursing field.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm Kelly, and I'm a senior, and I'm looking to go into sports management.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm Katie. I'm a senior, and I want to either go into nursing or marketing.
Awesome.
You have to.
Not even on the screen.
You have to just go.
You gotta go this way. I'm Karina, and I'm gonna own the carnival one day. Like, actually own my uncle's carnival.
Wow.
And, like, travel the state.
Hey, you're great.
Oh, I'm a senior, too.
Sounds good.
That's a real life question. She asked if I want a question.
What was the question? Omar, what was your question?
Can you do dreads?
We do not, we're not that place, but I can refer you to a place that does dreads downtown, and they're actually really cool. It's called Thorpes.
Oh, yeah?
For real.
Hey, that's a legitimate question. I want this.
How much more money did you make once you started your investing in that software company?
Well, not a lot. So when you have a startup company that's specifically technology based, I want you to know a couple things. One, technology will cost you thousands of dollars to start. Number two, it's going to cost you thousands of dollars to maintain, because think about how often your phone says you need to go and update your phone. Okay, is everybody with me? You have to update your settings sometimes. Well, every time that happens, if your software doesn't automatically update with the changes on Google or think about Chrome and Mozilla Firefox, all of those things, you have to update your software to always be current with those elements. So it's an ongoing, just you're throwing money at it. If you have kids, this is what happens when you have kids too. Okay? So take your time. Be smart. Which I was. I'm 34 and we just have a 2.5-month-old. So yeah. Aww. Yeah, thanks. I would say this, no matter what you do, if you're in the game for the mindset of when I was a hairstylist, I was on commission, right? So my first check was terrible, but it took you to where I was after that. When I first opened my hair salon, I did not pay myself for over a year. I was living off my husband, who was not my husband at the time, but I was living off his earnings. And then when I started the software, which was a year ago, we are still shy of breaking even, but we're not too far away, which is actually pretty incredible for software. But it usually takes, in that world, 3 to 5 years for startups to take off. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's not for people who are needing to know everything that's around the corner. If you have to open up the door to see who's there, it may not be for you. But if you're a risk taker and you don't fear these things, then go for it. I look at it like this. We have this one life on earth to explore and do wild things, and I am a believer. I came back to the cross per se, and I feel like if God is with us, who's against us? There really isn't anything here on earth that we should be scared to try. I think that if you have big goals, you just have to figure out who will believe in you and back you up, because nothing you're going to be able to do in that world you cannot do it alone. You got to have the right people around you who will support you. And in different stages of my growth, it was different people supporting me. I had a friend help me put together my business plan and all the numbers aspects of launching my salon. I had my husband support me financially when I had the salon. I've had other people invest in my salon when I first started, which I could talk about. In 2010, when I opened the salon, we weren't quite out fully of the recession, and everybody was still very scared to lend money. I had no liabilities in my life, which means I didn't have any debt, but I didn't have any assets, which scares banks because they want to know that they can take something of yours if you fail, like a house or something, collateral. Well, I didn't have any of that. So when I first opened the salon, I had 2 people invest hard money. I had an attorney write what's called a promissory note, which means it's a contract saying, I will pay you back at this %. So they basically financed me at first over a bank. Now I work with banks, but you become a slave to the lender if you're not careful. So what I would say is, no matter what you do, start off small and take it very slow. Take it very slow and make sure you don't get yourself in trouble with debt. But we could go on many different paths of topics today. Hopefully that helps answer your question.
I have a curiosity question for you, Katie.
Yeah.
If you were to give them any advice on if being an entrepreneur out of the gate of, go to college, that's what they wanted to do afterwards, are there classes that you could recommend possibly that you've come across since, just with your experience, it's not, necessarily cosmetology related, but what would your advice in that department
Yeah, that's a good question. Everybody hear that? Omar, you paying attention? I know you're not. Okay, so the question is, if you want to be an entrepreneur right out of high school, what do you do? Well, I'll say this. Look at how many kids are on shows like Ellen who are already entrepreneurs, who are already doing things. You can start at any time. If you want local resources to help teach you the world of business, there's a couple places I recommend. First is the Dream Bank, which is right on the square. It is an American Family Insurance owned company, and it's their flagship store, which means it's the first ever of this type of place. The Dream Bank, if you go on to Dream Bank website, Google it, the Dream Bank Madison, they have multiple speakers coming in for free. So you attend these talks for free, and you can attend anything. In fact, I'm going to be talking there in October on how to maximize customer relations. So they have many different entrepreneurs showing up, teaching different business topics. It's all free, okay? The second is the UW Small Business Development Center. I took a class there moons ago. I think it was like 2008 or 9 on small business fundamentals. And I cannot remember if it was free. It might have been a little bit of a cost, but it's local, and it's the kind of I was never the type that was thrilled about doing the traditional college route. You know, I want to get right in and learn. I feel like experience can teach you what a book cannot. I think you have to do to learn, but I'm a kinesthetic learner, meaning I got to have my hands in it and do it to learn. Some people are audio learners. Great. Listen to podcasts. Podcasts are free, and you can listen to many different business owners that have podcasts out there who will give you tangible pieces of advice. And also, you know, if you're a visual learner, then pull up some YouTube videos and start exploring. If you have the will, there will be a way. And hopefully that answers your question.
Yes, thank you. Do you guys have anything else on your end that you'd like to ask Katie at this point?
How did you start talking? Like, you seem like you're kind of a speaker now, like you're talking for us and you're talking for a place next October. How did you become that after being an entrepreneur?
Great question, and it's kind of, I want to answer this a couple ways. You know, you have to have the mindset. So I can say I'm an athlete and I don't currently play sports, but I show up to the gym every day and lift weights and work out. So that's what an athlete does. So you have to have this mindset that you are already this person, you're in the process of becoming them, and then you do what it takes to make that happen. So what did I do? I started a podcast. It's #1 in the beauty industry on iTunes. And did I need permission to do that? No, I just needed to buy the equipment and put myself out there. Now I'm a speaker nationally in that regard. And then I start saying everywhere, I create business cards that say speaker. I start doing free speaking events. I start speaking to different salons for free to get my foot in the door. And all of a sudden, people are like seeing this on social media and different platforms. And they're like, you're a speaker. We want to come have you speak. And I'm like, great. It's going to be $2,500. And now I get paid to share with people things that I'm just passionate about talking about. So it's a beautiful, it can be a dream for you guys. I mean, if you have that, you kind of have to earn your way into it. But you can start as soon as you want.
How long did it take you to get there?
So Zach, I didn't start till I was 22 and I'm 34. So it's taken a little over 10 years.
What's your podcast called?
Beyond the Technique with Kati Whitledge.
Deep.
All right, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're like a little bit fired up. Like anybody like a little bit fired up now? Yeah. Okay.
Where's my hand?
Good. Well, if you don't have any more questions for me, I want to just thank you for taking the time to spend your afternoon with me today, and hopefully you took some positives out of it. And it's all about the action you take from here. So thank you.
Thank you for participating in the Students and Leaders Network. For more information and to view additional on-demand career videos, please visit studentcareerinfo.com.